So check this out. Okay. So okay, let's just do this. I don't think it's streaming. Let's see. No, it's working. Okay, I think we're live. Okay, let me show this. So video I wanted to watch was this level.
Why the fuck is the stock market going up? Ladies and gentlemen, a week has passed, and I am podcasting to you once more. Think if this is the practice, in fact, forgive me, I'm being very polite, but welcome to Sydney.
Yeah. Okay. So so basically, when I came across this specific,
another $22 trillion for the easy riders for the defense of NATO.
like, listen to this thing.
Wow.
So this will give you some insight on what's going on with this war.
Oil needs to flow. It's as simple as that. Stop reading the front pages of the financial media. For weeks now, you've been sold a story about this market, and it's wrong. It's wrong in a way that should make
I
you
like to listen to him
not because the
at
facts are wrong,
1.5.
but because the story was written well before the first boat nosed through the Hormuz. Every front page, every opinion page, fresh from the editorial team, the transatlantic intelligence, the coastal elites, and the European intelligence. Yeah, the same goddamn thing. The Iranians have the upper hand. The Strait is their choke point. Trump is hopelessly out of his depth. A reckless Bulgarian dragging the rest of us into disaster, whilst the patient, chest playing, Iranians holding the collar, and sitting around, sipping their tea. The elites expect the United States to believe another
So this is a specific part I wanted to talk about. He mentioned elites, right? So what you need to start realizing is all these things are being caused by elites from different countries. So it's like elites from US are fighting against elites from other elites from US, and then they're bashing with each other. Same thing is happening in Iraq too. Elites have their own agenda and they are driving this war in different directions. You have European elites, you have American elites, you have Israeli elites, all these guys.
For the defense of NATO, all the while sneering at the very people who haven't received a real wage increase in decades, and pretending that the last
So this is the truth, right? Like labor force has now gotten a wage increase.
Byproduct of globalization and not a design aimed to dominate the rest of us. America loud, therefore reckless. The adversary patient and therefore strategic confrontation equals failure. And the end is always the same. The problem, you see, is not the world, it's the people running it. You're reading a pamphlet on how the West was lost in real time. I've read every one of it because that's my job. I go and what jumps out is not brilliance, but the market's might be seeing something. And I say more honest, something cleaner. You see, the market asks, who can keep this running longest? And the answer is not what you've been spoon-fed to believe. Because you see, what's this entire elitist, Tehran-centric nonsense was being played out on the front pages. Something else was happening. The S&P surpassed 7,000 with the assured confidence of a system that had long made up its mind. Why not? Why? Because markets are in the business of getting the big decisions right on the big outcomes. You see, markets reduce the world into one fucking push. Who's constrained and how bad? The answer is not complicated. You see, a land system is not designed to pause. It's designed to flow. Oil can't just sit under the ground. It has to move continuously to the tanker, to the sea, to the Chinese customer. Interrupt, press, pause. That system breaks. The problem isn't the billions of dollars of revenue. That's not even started. It's not the problem that you miss.
So now he's going to take you down like what is the biggest problem because of
The
that?
pressure on the ground drops sharply, causing the heavy, sheary stuff to stick like glue in the holes of the rock. And once that happens, damage is permanent. You lose a big chunk of your oil forever. So plain and simple, the longer this continues, the longer Iran is destroying the very thing that made it powerful, the very thing the regime in Tehran depends upon. This isn't Ali Akbar crap. This is a trap. And whilst you may not be reading it in the press, you're reading it in the price. The clearest expression, what I can promise you, I'm not making this up, is the price of volatility. The price of volatility the last 2 weeks was crushed. It collapsed by almost 40%, one of the most significant reversals in risk in the last 4 decades. And when that's happened in the past, 1 year forward returns have always been mid-teens. This isn't a prophecy. This is profound pattern recognition. This is something that happens time and again and again and again. There was one exception. It was 2021. But 2021 is the mirror image of today. 2021 was the Fed, was then COVID staring at an easy policy that had to be reversed. We had the most rapid, quickest tightening monetary policy ever. And that ain't happening anytime soon. That's a black mirror. Markets see something else. And take last week's producer prices. Producer prices, you know, inflation is not poetry. But it's informative. Last week, big inflation headline, dominated by the oil and gas. But strip the volatility out, go core, and prices fairly new, and then add to that the forward machinery of capital markets. This is what people are missing. The forward machinery of the matrix. There's an agenda. You've just not been informed yet. The next wave of equity offerings, you know, IPOs. I mean, they may be mythical in size, but we are talking about the greatest fundraising in all time. And it's essentially, it's like a hurricane. It's essentially offshore right now. SpaceX, OpenAI, Anthropic, weighing wings, trillions of listed value, hundreds of billions of dollars of primary new equity to be listed, a tsunami of likely public participation, public view, you're going to be buying. And the system needs this to happen. It needs a public mark on these bloated private assets. The system has to release inventory. This is not irrational exuberance. This is rational. This is what the system, the machine, this is what it does, is pre-positioning in its most determined and distilled form. Billions of dollars.
So this is a very important point.
Equity to be listed. A tsunami of likely public participation, public view, you're going to be buying. And the system needs this to happen. It needs a public mark on these bloated private assets. The system has to release inventory. This is not irrational exuberance. This is rational. This is what the system, the machine, this is what it does, is pre-positioning in its most determined and distilled form. It's going to happen. It is happening. It is happening. You're just not aware of it right now, but you will be. Media is still playing that long-form record on repeat, amplifying every prejudicial statement of the Western elite. But there's a moment when the music stops and you get it. And that's where we are this week. Right now, the wise mind says it's most unlikely that Iran dictates the terms of the nation. Rather, it points to an energy producer running up the constraints of a flow system that's been put on pause. It points to an inflation outlet that seems louder than it is in reality. And capital markets already knew producer running up the constraints of the Western elite. But there's a moment when the music stops and you get it. And that's where we are this week. Right now, the wise mind says it's most unlikely that Iran dictates the terms of the rate. Rather, it points to an energy producer running up the constraints of a flow system that's being put on pause. It points to an inflation outlook that seems lighter than it is in reality, and capital markets already moving 2-3 months into the future and preparing to sell you SpaceX, OpenAI, and Anthropic. That's the split, two measures of reality. One, scribbled, boldly proclaimed on the front page, and one...
So he's talking about the SpaceX IPO, the IPOs of all these like AI companies, OpenAI and stuff. It's trillions of dollars, right? They need to do. So there is one vision where the money goes, like markets are supposed to go up now into July, right? So that's what he's trying to explain. Like you don't need to be positioning negative right now.
Yeah, every day 24/7, and only one of them is making money.